PlayStation is in the news yet again because apparently they're trying to make a handheld device similar to the Steam Deck. The idea of PlayStation making a handheld is probably one that makes fans quite happy, especially fans who have really enjoyed, for example, the Vita. The PlayStation Vita was very popular among certain PlayStation fan friends of mine who talk about how much they liked it over the years. But this new device could be coming in the future, or it could not, because Sony hasn't been very clear about this leak. This is coming from Bloomberg, and here's what we know from the story. Sony Group Corp is in the early stages of developing a portable console that would play its PS5 games on the move. Now, hypothetically, if that was a bespoke piece of hardware similar to the Steam Deck that just allowed you to play PlayStation games while you're on the go, that would be pretty freaking cool. One slight problem with it would be competition in the marketplace. If you can only play PlayStation games, I do feel like PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 content library specifically could be a little bit light. Hopefully that would expand to be the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, etc., similar to what Xbox and every other manufacturer has done. But also, I would hope it would be more open. That doesn't really seem to be PlayStation style, but I'm just thinking out loud here as I read this story. The goal is to compete with Nintendo and Microsoft, according to people familiar with its development. So it turns out that Microsoft announcing that they are doing a handheld, Phil Spencer confirmed very recently that it is in production, or at least they're making prototypes at the moment. It does seem like Sony is wondering if maybe they should have an answer to that and an answer to the Nintendo Switch. It is likely years away from launch, and the company may not even bring it to the market. So whatever Sony is developing is very early on. They don't even know if they're going to launch it. And this comes at a time when the PlayStation Portal is really, really in the spotlight right now, because they just announced that you're going to be able to basically stream games. If you have the highest tier of PlayStation Premium, you're going to be able to stream games to the device, and you're not going to need the console. It's something similar to what Xbox had announced recently. I believe Nintendo has a similar service, and it's really interesting that all these companies are trying to figure out new ways to engage gamers and get new people into their ecosystems. This would be a smart strategy on Sony's part, in my opinion, because I do think it would be quite compelling to have a device made by Sony. I do think the PlayStation Portal, it looks pretty cool. I think I would do something a little bit different with the sticks, but everybody who has it seems to really like it. So the market has spoken. They really like the PlayStation Portal already, so it can only get better from here. But the interesting bit is they might not even bring this thing to the market at the end of the day, because it does seem like they had thought about this already when they created the PlayStation Portal. This is via Insider Gaming. It's said that the development builds on the PlayStation Portal as opposed to playing games via streaming them from the console over the internet. However, this new device will be an actual console that is aiming at competing with the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo's upcoming Switch successor. Bloomberg adds that sources told them that Sony's original plan for the Portal was for it to work as a standalone system like Valve's Steam Deck before it became the streaming device it is. One of the big setbacks or things holding back the PlayStation Portal from gaining mass appeal was very simply that you had to have a PlayStation 5 and that you had to stream from your PlayStation 5. So this streaming announcement that I just mentioned previously in the video, it's actually quite notable because it's the first time where they kind of reduce that tethering to having to own a PlayStation 5 and streaming games from your current home console. Now you're going to be able to just play games via the cloud. However, the fact that they originally were going to make it as a standalone thing, I think they're kind of kicking themselves on that, because they're like, we could have gone to market to compete with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now Microsoft's talking about getting in on the business. And all of this leaves me with one sort of interesting question. Why are you not subscribed yet? Why don't you subscribe? Hit that bell. No, I'm just kidding. The question I actually leaves me wondering is how is the market going to look in 2026? I think everybody's going to be getting in on the handheld craze right now. You know, Steam got in on it. We know the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming in 2025. And I have to wonder if by the end of 2025, early 2026, we now have basically everybody in the handheld market again. I think that would be a very interesting way for all of these companies to try and get a new audience, or in Nintendo's case, just improve the experience of their existing customers with a more powerful handheld device that people can play on the go. And with technology mostly getting cheaper, we'll see what happens with the tariff situation this year. I do think that this is quite an interesting situation that these companies find themselves in. I got to be honest, if they price the PlayStation Portal right, I would be very interested in taking a much closer look at it. The PlayStation Portal right now is $199, and I'm willing to bet that if you get it, at a cheaper price point, a lot of people will be jumping on board. If they launch their handheld and it's like even $299, right now it's $199, then I do think that a lot of people will be getting on board. And I think more importantly, having more people in the handheld space, including all of the big names, that would really put Nintendo in a bit of an interesting spot. Nintendo would then have to figure out new ways to compete. They're going to be competing with games that look better. There's going to be more people on the market. And make no mistake, Nintendo's going to do quite well for themselves with whatever handheld that they end up launching. I mean, I'm going to get a new Nintendo, whatever it ends up being, Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm sure everybody else will. But if you have a choice between that and you have a choice between a PlayStation, I think that's a pretty compelling argument. And we don't really know what Xbox has planned right now, but if the Xbox portable device, whatever that ends up being, includes something like Steam, then that's really good. These are very different scenarios for a purchaser to consider. And to me, that's really exciting to sort of look at and analyze and have a conversation about where do you find the best value proposition? Do you have it with something like the portable Xbox, which will be all your Xbox games, Xbox Game Pass, just games made available on your portable device, and access to Steam, which would mean you would have a delayed access to PlayStation games? Or do you want the PlayStation device? What does that look like for PlayStation? PlayStation's fairly known for keeping things close to the chest and keeping things within their family. So would they allow other services on their streaming device like Steam or Epic? And then you still have Valve in the market, so they take a little bit of a Nintendo Center. And then what's Nintendo going to offer with the Nintendo Switch 2? We still haven't actually seen the hardware. We do know it's coming, but I do like this idea of, in a new way, all of the console manufacturers going head to head once again. So it's really, really exciting. Really, really curious to hear your thoughts on what you think about the PlayStation Portal, but we're not done yet. There was one story that I almost did a video on. Glad I held off a little bit. Christopher Judge commented on this story going around that there's going to be multiple God of War announcements in the next 2 weeks. He's totally refuted that. Here's what he says. Absolutely not true. You can't tease something you know nothing about. I will be making announcements in the near future. I can guarantee none of them will be about our beloved God of War. I am awaiting updates just like everyone else. So long story short, he said something on a podcast. Seems like it got taken to mean that there's going to be all of these God of War announcements in the next 2 weeks. I'm a huge God of War fan. I was sort of excited I was going to talk about it, but he had to come out and just basically say, no, that's not what I was saying. That's not what's happening. Don't get your hopes up. So just a real quick note there. I thought I'd add that in there. But back to the handheld. Let me know what you would like from a PlayStation handheld specifically, a Nintendo handheld, and an Xbox handheld, because I think that sounds kind of cool that they would all be competing for, our dollars, and we can take a cost benefit analysis and make videos about them. Like I like doing that sort of stuff and having those conversations with y'all. But let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that like button if you're already subscribed, of course. Thank you so much for watching. I'm recording this super late. I procrastinated on the video because I just wanted to chill for a bit. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to the members for supporting. I greatly appreciate all of the members. Thank you so very much. If you want to become a member, support this channel, you can do so by clicking that join button right down there. I'm going to get out of here, but if you want to see my last video, it is right here. It was a hour-long podcast that I'm starting with my friend Travis and whoever else ends up coming along to talk about Xbox, talk about gaming news of the week, etc. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.